We continue our story with Meltdown in his laboratory. He's actually examining the trash monster that was created in the, trash episode where Retgar was supposed to appear, but unfortunately, no dispersed allspark, no Retgar. And Meltdown finds this thing fascinating. Its DNA composition holds so much potential, and yet it also could maybe cure him? He finds it interesting, but maybe there's also more to it. And so as he keeps looking, he finds genetic mutations and different forms of coding in his DNA. Mutation, transmutation, amalgamation, and even resurrection, which interests him the most. And he's like, perhaps I could use this. We would then go over to the Nemesis, or the Decepticon moon base, if you will, where Starscream is trying to think. He needs something. He needs a way to get the edge. He already killed Megatron the last chapter, but he needs something. Luckily, this comes in the form of Starscream. Yay! Ha ha ha. Yeah, it's not gonna go the way you think it does. Yeah, so the thing about this is Starscream is sort of helping him, but also sort of not helping him as well. And, Starscream is trying to actually get an army out of, Shockwave. And he thinks that this could be vital, this could be important. But Shockwave's like, no, I'm not giving you an army no time soon. Starscream's like, what do you mean you're not giving me an army? I need the Decepticons. Megatron's dead. I saw it myself. The Autobots were the ones that killed him, and so now I'm in charge. Like, what do you mean? And he's like, yes, but there are also other commanders in Megatron's army, particularly Stryker. Considering Lugnut and Blitzwing are being held by the elite god, I might add, this means that you really hold nothing, do you? Starscream is just kind of pouting right now, obviously, angry at this, but at the same time he's like, you can't do this. I am the second in command. No, you are a commander, Starscream. I hope you do well against the Autobots on Earth, because again, you won't be getting back here anytime soon. As if we would trust you with leading the Decepticons. Farewell. And so Starscream is just kind of like upset for a little bit, but he's like, well, if I can't get an army, then he'll just have to make one. And looks at all the protoforms in the warship, which again is something I find very interesting, that Megatron really never utilized it if it was on the Nemesis the whole time. Just a side note. But we head back to the Autobot HQ, and Alita is actually training Sari to utilize her body fully, basically utilizing her powers and abilities so that she is more formidable, that she always doesn't need to be there. Meanwhile, the Dinobots are kind of just relaxing and doing their own thing, and well, everything's going smoothly and going easily, while the Autobots are discussing whether or not they honestly could just go back to Cybertron, as they no longer have to deal with the Decepticons. But Optimus is like, Alita 1 is still here, and well, Starscream is still around the vicinity. To which Ratchet's like, yeah, good point. There's also the possibility Lockdown might come back for payback. But then, if they do leave, what about their friends? But this is where we then go back to Sari and Alita, and she's like, hey, do you think we'll ever have a normal life? To which Alita's like, well, we weren't born normal. I mean, what does it look like for us having a normal and simple life? What could we possibly even do? To which Sari's like, yeah, that is a good point. I mean, we could probably run Dad's business, but that seems boring. But what do we even begin to do? To which Alita's like, I don't know. It does leave everything curious on what could possibly happen or what we could possibly do. But this is when a fire truck simply runs by, and well, yeah, the cops are chasing it once again. But you guys might be asking, who's on this fire truck this time? Well, it is none other than the Angry Archer. Obviously, he just robbed another bank like it was a 9-to-5 job. I swear, the cops and drones in this facility are just absolutely ridiculous. And so he prepares to fight against the Autobots. But this is where he actually sees both Alita and Sorry both just kind of sitting there or just standing there folding their arms. And he just feels, honestly, he feels like he's kind of offended in all honesty. It's like, what? No Autobots? What are you two doing here? I expected high-class superheroes, not children. Into which Sari actually puts her hand on the fire truck he's standing on and is like, high-class superheroes? Dude, you aren't even an S-rank villain. And so this is where she actually infects the fire truck so that she can control it. And then the door swings out and it just knocks him out completely. And, well, the cops apprehend him and thank the girls for their trouble. And this is, like, the funniest part about it. And Sari's kind of like, maybe being superheroes wouldn't be a bad gig. And Alita's like, you may have a point, but doing it with just the two of us, would it get boring eventually? Into which Sari's like, well, I mean, are there any other heroes out there? Maybe. I don't know. I thought you always thought the Autobots and maybe the Dinobots would stay. But this is where we go back to the laboratory. And Meltdown is talking to someone. He's simply stating that, look, he'll pay whatever price he needs. He's even got thousands of dollars at his disposal. But right now, he just needs her to get something. He needs a fossil. A fossil of a rare dragon breed that was long extinct. He thinks it could be vital, it could be very important, and it could be crucial in his experimentation. And this is where we actually see that he's talking to Slow-Mo. Now, Slow-Mo in this one actually does have a device that slows down time. And believe it or not, I think it would be simple for her to just, like, have this. I mean, why wouldn't she? I mean, she, like, let's be real. No Allspark fragment. She's kind of useless, so let's just give her the device. And so it does take Meltdown a little bit of time to, like, convince her just to steal this darn bone from the museum. And so pretty much she does it. And actually, she does it without Alita and Sorry being on her and the Autobots. Because right now, they're actually kind of distracted, or we'll say that she's actually stealthy enough to actually get it without setting the alarm, thus kind of just negating that entirely, right? So believe it or not, this is where we would go to Starscream. He just made his Seekers. And you might say, well, how did he actually do it? I'm going to actually say he used a piece of himself. Yeah, probably the most painful part about it is that he does have to use, like, pieces of his own spark, but it works at the end of the day, but ouch, very painful. So all the Starscream protoforms, or basically he makes them like he did in the original, are born. So that means Sunstorm, Ramjet, Skywarp, Thundercracker, and Slipstream are all basically there. And keep in mind, without Megatron in this timeline, this means that Starscream can honestly function fully without having anything to happen. But the remaining protoforms, the number of them left is 6. All right, I want y'all to think about that. The remaining protoform numbers are 6. And so this is where Starscream pretty much adjusts his leadership and stuff like that, or addresses his leadership and says that they will take over all of Cybertron and the Decepticons. And so this is where the Seekers actually do head to Earth, and we're going to say they head to the same location as the Decepticon base in canon. However, this is where Thundercracker, the smartest of the Starscreams, simply state that they are going to need someone to make a, let's you say, a cloaking device for them. And then if they want to get to Cybertron, what if they actually make a space bridge? To which Starscream is like, huh, you really are my smart side. Very well, go get that Professor Sundak person and take those two with you. And so this is where Thundercracker, Ramjet, and Sunstorm both go to Sundak Tower, and this is actually a very quick smash and grab. Now you might ask yourself, okay, why is it a quick one? And I'm going to say this. These are still Starscream clones, and Starscream is really on his own and really just has them. So I don't think he would be willing to waste time, in my opinion. So a quick smash and grab. He grabs the, they grab Professor Isaac Sundak, and he pretty much just gets out of there. Like, they pretty much get out of there, and then boom, they start making their cloaking tech, and now they have the means to build a space bridge, or at least something for the time being. As again, Starscream does want to take over Earth, but right now he's kind of in a state where he wants to, but he doesn't want to, if you get what I mean. And so the Autobots do arrive at the tower. And keep in mind, with the Dinobots not being there, this does mean that, well, you know, they kind of do feel bad that Professor Sundak just got napped right under their noses like it was nothing. They should have been able to track down the Seekers coming to the atmosphere, and well, now they can't even find them. They don't even know where they are, and that's just the scary part about it. And Alita and Sari are both upset about this, and Ratchet does reassure them that they'll find their father. But what in the heck could Starscream even be planning with their father to begin with? And so this is where they think their dad can do almost anything, right? So what's something that you know, he wouldn't be able to do for them? And this is where they also talk about the raid to the museum, but this is where we also head to the laboratory, with Meltdown finally receiving the bone from Slow-Mo, right? And he actually used the genetic programming of the trash monster and begins resurrecting the fossil. And Slow-Mo's actually pretty interested in this. She's like, so you mean to tell me this creature can do a lot of things? And this is where Meltdown simply states, well, it's kind of up in the air on what the genetics programming of this creature can do. But right now, there are so many possibilities. And he's wondering if he could cure himself. But, by the way, your money's over there, and you have a nice day. And so, this is where Meltdown resurrects the ancient sea dragon, Tien Lung. And that's where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. How do you guys feel about Starscream making the Seekers, Shockwave rejecting, you know, the proposal or the offer, or basically the time to help Starscream, and pretty much going with Stryker as the new Decepticon leader, which will be addressed in the next part? But that's going to be all today, guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe, and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I'll see you guys for the next part. Peace.